Today we're going to be working on this Maytag dryer. This is kind of older model and the model number it's on the display. Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Read all the warnings, and during this video you will see one or more of these icons to help you do this repair safe. And the problem that we have with this dryer is that it's making a rattling noise, and if your dryer stops working or the bell is broken, you might have to check this, because in this case we have a problem with the pulley, and the pulley has like a wheel. Also, this dryer has 4 wheels, 2 in the back and 2 in the front. So if you hear that rattling noise, you should follow this video, and this video will help you with your situation. Again, this is a Maytag dryer, and if your dryer is making a rattling noise, this is what you have to do. First thing is disconnect the appliance to avoid electric shock. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to put it forward, and we're gonna go ahead and start the disassemble. The first thing we're gonna look into it is the bottom panel, and we can take a pic of what it can be causing this issue. But again, most of the time is the pulley or one of the wheels. Sometimes you have to hit the panel to be able to come out. Then you're gonna remove the 2 screws that are right there. Once you move those 2 screws, there's this harness. We're gonna have to remove this harness. These harnesses are kind of tricky to remove. There's another 1/4 screws right there. They're all 1/4 screws, by the way. Now this is the 2 screws on the top panel. Okay. If this video helped you in any kind of way, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. That helps us to make more content for you guys. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the 1/4 screws on the top for this metal bracket. And now we're gonna go ahead and look for those tabs, because those tabs are holding the front display and touch panel. See, that one got loose right quick, but the other one is snaps in place. So we're gonna use a flathead screwdriver or a universal screwdriver. In this case I'm using the universal, and you see how I release the tab and then it comes right out. Once you got the front touch panel loose, we're gonna go ahead and remove the other metal bracket. But before, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the harness to be able to remove the whole touch panel display out of the way. By the way, that harness is like a press and release. It's very self-explanatory. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the 2 front screws, 1/4 screws that is holding this metal bracket, and we're gonna put it out of the way. This video is kind of long, guys. It's about 20 minutes long, so 22 minutes. So in some scenarios I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward. That way the video is not boring. As you see, I keep removing the 1/4 screws that hold in this front panel. And in some cases, I don't have to remove these 2 Phillips screws, but in this case, it was necessary. Like I said, it depends on the model. Sometimes this front panel will come out with the bracket behind it, but in this case, they come separately. So we're gonna have to remove the 2 Phillips screws. There is still holding this front panel. The one is the one that has the door. Either way, we have to remove those harnesses, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out how to remove this front panel before, and then we'll remove the the two harness that you see on the bottom. This is the last two Phillips screws. Like I said, this kind of confused me a little because in some models you don't have to remove these two screws, and you just leave them there and the whole thing will come together. Once you remove those two screws, the next thing is remove, or you can disconnect those harness before. In this case, I did it this way because I didn't know that it was two different pieces, but you get the idea. Now this is the door switch on the bottom, but I'm not going to disconnect the switch. I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect the harnesses. One is for the temperature sensor, the moisture sensor, and the other one is for the door switch. However, those harnesses are kind of tricky. I find kind of ridiculous the way they build those. You have to stick like a screwdriver, and you have to be careful because you can stick the screwdriver. Now this is a clamp that is just holding the wire. Just grab like a little piece of, like a screwdriver, snap it just to remove it out of the way, and remember to put it back like it was once you finish with the repair. And like I was saying, those harness I find kind of ridiculous the way they do it. That's how you have to stick a screwdriver in open, and you cannot do both sides at the same time. So basically you have to force one side and then go to the other side and force it, and maybe it stay open for you to release it. You will get what I'm saying once you remove remove the front panel and get access to it. Now, as you saw right there, I removed the other left 1/4 screws. In this case, the two on the top can stay in place. You just have to release it on the top, so you can just leave the two 1/4 screws on the top of this panel. That's the way I did it. You don't really have to remove those two screws, but you have to loosen them up to be able to remove that bracket. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use demonstration video in how to remove the pulley, because I couldn't get my camera inside there because it was too filthy. So this is some pando straps, some zip ties, and this is how I'm gonna hold this bracket that is holding the main control board. Now this is the video that I'm talking about. Pretty much all whirlpools and Maytag works the same way. This is how you release the bell. Just stick your hand in one of the sides inside and release the bell, as you saw in that footage. If you gotta see it again, just go back in the video and watch it many times until you do it right. Once you release the bell from the motor and the pulley, you can just grab the bell and use the bell to get the drum out of the cabinet. Once you remove the drum, just move it out of the way. I'm working in a very, very small place, so bear with me, guys. I try to leave most of the footage that I can, and as you can see right there, the pulley is messed up. It's a wheel that the bell caught through it. So what happened is the wheel stops, and the bell just keeps sliding on it and burn the plastic on the pulley. So if you saw, once I removed the drum, the pulley wheel, but I'm going to show it to you in a little bit with a closer footage. Now I'm removing this screw. Later on, I'm going to go ahead and let you know what size is it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in a text. Okay, now this is one thing that I'm going to mention a couple times. You see how the pulley has a spring there. The spring have to go back in there. The new one might bring one. As you see how the belt caught through that wheel right there. And this is something I'm going to put in a slow motion. As you see, the screw has a spot for this pulley. This pulley is not going to be tight in there. The screw has a gap, especially for this pulley to be moving back and forth, to have some play because that's the way it should be. I put that footage twice. That way you guys get the idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain it to you once install the new one as well. Again, that pulley, that screw should not be grabbing and tightening and get that pulley tight. It have to have a place. You have to have a play. This is the new part. There's gonna be a link in the description of this video if you want the part number, or if you want to go ahead and press the link and buy this part. There's a few links there. Just go there and you'll be able to get the new piece. As you see, brand new wheel. This one is perfect, not like the other one that is ate up. And this is how the spring goes back in there. In this case, the spring, this new piece didn't bring the new spring, and I believe it didn't bring the new screws. In some cases, it will bring a new screw and a new springs, but not in this model for some reason. So I'm reusing the same spring and the same screw, which sometimes that's what I do either way, because sometimes the fits on the new screws are not the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and explain what I'm telling you, because this is the most tricky part of all this repair. Get this pulley. This pulley have to have a play like that. As you see, that screw is not really grabbing the pulley. It's just holding the bracket in place. So as you see, I'm trying to get it in place, and that's when it snaps in place, and I'm able to tie the screw all the way, but the pulley will still have a play, as you can see. Now I'm using a ratchet, and I'm gonna let you know in a little bit the size. This is basically like a drill bit. I don't know in millimeters what size it will be, but I bet if you're doing this repair by yourself, you probably have a kit or something. This is a 1332 drill bit that I'm using. So you can use a 1332 drill bit, and in a ratchet, I believe it will be like a 10 millimeter or 11 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, once you got the pulley tight in place, we're gonna go ahead and put the spring. I'm gonna put this footage in slow motion because, you know, as you can see, this dryer was very filthy, and I barely can get some footage out of there, but I do the best I can for you guys. So just bear with me. Once I put the back, now I put the front, and once I put the one in the piece in the front, it should just stay in place and it will not come out. And as you see, this is what I'm talking about. The screw that you see me with the ratchet is tight. That pulley's not coming out, and it still have a place. So that's what you're looking for. Once you do that and you tie the screw and the pulley still have a place, I still have a play to it, that means you did it right. In this scenario, my vacuum stops working, so I already coordinated another appointment for the homeowner to be able to do a dryer vent cleaning, which that's going to be another video, and maintenance to the dryer. But I'm going to clean much as I can by hand, because I know you guys always telling me if, you know, something is dirty or whatever. So, you know, sometimes you guys don't understand that maybe the homeowner don't want us to do it because it's an extra charge. Sometimes, even if we're not charging, they want to do it themselves, so they already have somebody that do it every year. So this is dryer maintenance and dryer vent cleaning. So sometimes people already have a guy that comes every year, and, you know, they already scheduled an appointment. So, but in this case, they didn't have anybody, and I cannot leave this dryer the way it was. And as you can see, this is how you put the bell back in the motor and also the pulley. And as you saw right there, that pulley still have a play. This is just an example That way you can see how it looks in the inside. Once you got it in place, just turn the drum counterclockwise. Another thing that I want to tell you guys is be careful. All these dryers has sharp edges, so I want you guys to use long gloves or a long sleeves shirt, because you definitely gonna cut yourself if you don't do this every day. And that's another thing. You always get on me when I want you guys to be careful and, you know, use all these safety things, and you say that I don't use it. Well, I do this every day, and sometimes I do get hurt, but like I said, I do this every day, so the possibilities for me to get hurt are minimum. But again, I always warn you guys, because I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes. If you guys don't do this for a living, you don't do this every day, most likely you can get hurt. And as you saw right there, that was very self-explanatory. You just gotta hook the this panel and the two screws that you have left on the top, and it will stay in place. And then just screw the other screws on the bottom, which I believe it goes along with with this panel. So once you get that one in place and get the two wheels that panel has on the drum, you'll be able to spin it like I just did. Just put the front panel, or one has the front door, and go ahead and put the two 1/4 screws in the bottom part of the panel. There we go. See, you don't pull those screws because those goes along with the panel that has the door. Once you got those screws, you're gonna go ahead and install those harness. Now you gotta be careful, because as you can see, I wasn't paying attention and I plugged the wrong harness in the wrong place. And this, like I said, disconnecting this harness are not easy. So you have to be careful. I just leave this footage there, the way you guys can see. Don't make the same mistake that I did. And just match the color, the same color wires, just match them and connect it the way you see in this footage right there. Like I said, one of the most things that you might run into trouble is release these harnesses if you don't do this every day, and get that pulley to get tight in place, but at the same time to have the play like I explained earlier in this video. Now we're going to go ahead and screw in the top metal bracket. Now we're going to go ahead and release the strap zip tie that it was holding the main control panel bracket. Also, I didn't have the footage where I tied those screw, I believe, on the top of that bracket, the one that has the door. So just make sure you tie those 1/4 screws as well. Now we're going to go ahead and connect the front touch panel and connect the harness on the main control board. Like I said, just follow the video. If you have to watch it a couple of times, just do it. And if you got the right tools, this might be the video to help you do this repair yourself. Yes, take all the precaution. This is the only two Phillips screws, and this is the last screws that I put. Don't forget to put the screw that goes right there that holds that part of the vent. And there's another one right there. Let's put this wire on that little strap. Just clips in place. And now we're going to go ahead and put the bottom panel. Again, guys, if this video helped you in any kind of way, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Now once you put the two 1/4 screws, we're gonna go ahead and try to put the dryer back in place, and also put this top panel. This panel has like some hooks that have to align, so just make sure you align those hooks. You will be able to see if you align it, because otherwise it will be out of whack and there's going to be a gap in the front. So once you got it in place, the screws also are going to match, and you just put the two 1/4 screws that holds this top panel. Now the only thing we got left is put the vent back in place. Let me fast forward this part of the video because I don't want this video to be too boring, and hook it to the vent that goes towards the roof. Now over here I got kind of tight spot, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my channel locks to be able to plug the dryer in place. Thanks for watching.